Finding your identity in things and in your perceptions is dangerous. Those perceptions, a lot of times, are shaped by your experiences, by your life, by your pains, by your emotions, and not set on anything solid. My name is Tony Olson. I am originally from Sioux City, Iowa, and I moved up, and now I live in Burnsville, Minnesota. I have for about 14 years. When I was 3, my dad reached out to a neighbor of ours to see if their son could watch us for that summer. We thought, you know, what better than for an older boy to watch younger kids? I don't know why this young man did what he did, or why I was forced to do those things. I do know that it affected me for a good 20 years of my life, if not more. When I was 8, my dad met his third wife. Along with my second stepmom came my stepbrother. I was still vulnerable. He came into my life in a very hostile way, which began a cycle of habitual abuse. And so over those 7 or 8 years, I hated it. But I didn't know what to do. I should have gone to my dad and told him that something was not right, that I was being abused and used and hit and hurt. But the inner child in me withdrew. Anger became a really easy thing for me. Anger makes you strong, or so I thought. How I continued to live was to withdraw from the world, to a lot of fantasy books, Lord of the Rings, The Hobbit, things that had a very visceral reality outside of this world. I needed a hero because I didn't have one. About my freshman year, my mom one night drugged me to youth group, and I think that was a massive pivotal point in my life. I had never been included before, and it was something new and something that refreshing. My friend Phil at the time was inviting me to a youth event in Northwest Iowa called Teens Encounter Christ. At the end of the weekend, they took us down into the basement, and there was a big curtain, and they said, if you have anything to say, or if you're feeling anything, let it out. And so I did. Anger. I remember it because it was thick, like oil kind of inside. It was slimy, and I just remember screaming at the top of my lungs. And then they dropped the curtain. Behind the curtain was the entire crew, dressed in their best clothes. They had served a 3-course meal, candlelit, everything was made up to be perfect. I felt so bad, and I felt like somebody was watching me. I started to get it then, and the picture at the head of the table was a picture of Christ. It was in that moment that he turned his head, and he looked at me and he said, I am here. Everything's going to be all right. And I just started to cry. The weight that I had felt for so long, the pain that I had felt for so long, it was almost like it lifted. And it was that night that I found forgiveness. It was that night that I turned and I said, Jesus, I'm yours, and I need you. That was the pivotal moment. That was the second beginning to my life. And I began to get really active in my church. I then enjoyed going to youth group. I began to serve and go and do things. And so I got very, very on fire. I graduated high school in 2002, moved up to Minnesota to go to college. Unfortunately, because I didn't have a church home, the Lord began to be a back burner focus for me. All the while, talking as if Jesus was a part of my life at that time, and he wasn't. I was very much the prodigal son. In 2007, I was partying with some friends. I left their place, subsequently got arrested, got a DUI. In 2012, 2013 is when I first came to Berean. It was pretty random for a good two years. I was still very much into drinking. So in February of 2015, I decided that I needed a night out. Drank some pretty tall beers, and at the end of the night, ended up getting pulled over and getting a second DUI. It crushed me. It crushed me to the depths of my soul. That was the lowest that I have ever been. But that's where grace enters in again. But that night I went home and I hit my knees. And I said, I can't do this. I can't do it anymore. I can't keep this up. I'm so poor, I'm so dry, I'm so weak. Take it away. I'm yours, take it away. And he did. That night, that moment, I began to run. I began to run hard and fast as I ran home to my father. The first thing that I did was open the Word. And I didn't just open it, I devoured it. Something in me was resonating with the gospel. He chased after me. He came after me with such love and such hope and such power that I couldn't help but turn and see it. Did I find that hero? No. That hero found me.